right, setting them up, knocking them down. Time for another one here. So this is for Desert Hills. We're going to be retrofitting an existing overhead sign. Got a little picture of that there. Brought to you by Google Earth. So we got 40 feet. So install is going to be taking down the pinkish color there. That's all coming off. And we're going to be retrofitting some panels. And then it's going to get these shoebox cabinets, 3-inch deep, reverse, backed up plex, not reverse, but backed up plex. So, and then on the back side, it gets vinyl. So we don't have to really worry about that too much. So, from the top view, from a high 30,000 foot view, it's pretty easy for you guys. I might not even do a video for shoebox cabinets, but a couple things I want to point out and a little install information. So just give those little pointers, but it should be quick and somewhat painless. So with that being said, let's get after it. So lay of the land. So we got ourselves a big cabinet. It's 132 inches, so it does involve face seams, unfortunately. So, but everything you need for the big cabinet. And then you're going to have 4 small cabinets. So the backers are going to be all typical universal. And then the faces will be the same size, but obviously different copies. So, and then there's going to be the retro panels. They're going to be 090. That's going to be pretty much for install. So, and then you got your 3/16 wide acrylic backers, backed up plex. Got some patterns going over to first shop. So let's start with the smalls here. And again, like I said, you guys be doing this in your sleep. You guys could probably take the parts with you to lunch, and you could probably build these in the car while you're in the Chick-fil-A drive-through. Knock these out. So, but the 3-inch deep, you're just going to weld up the ends on these, shoot your studs. The one thing though, and it's the same for the big one too, that's all universal, is to do the power. The power is going to be coming from the top. They're gonna be taking power because we got primary for these lights, and so install is going to bring them down and run it in the box to every one of these shoe boxes. So each shoe box gets their own power. So I kind of thought of how to do it. So what we're going to do is you're going to have an inside bend scribe here, or a reference kiss. I'm sorry, it's going to be a little reference kiss, and then you're just going to do a 1-2-2, and then that's going to tuck up against the end. So the end that doesn't have the power right here is going to be the normal sort of skinny guy. You're just going to do a 45 like we do and bring it across. And that way, you got the clipped corners for the cabinet. But on this side, you do the same thing, except it's going to have a riser. And then that's going to give you the ability to tack the 1-2-2 to the side there. You can see there, like there's the rise up there. So if you tack that around, like I got it here. So if you tack that around, tack it to the backer there, then the GE power supply is going to be side mounted facing in. And then this little 1-2-2 thing is going to give us our birdhouse for the switch. So you'll have a modified switch plate, a little bit longer and skinnier than the normal ones. And then you'll have a 7/8 knockout. So you can go ahead and put one of those bushings. I'd probably put with the closed up finger bushings. And then you can just run your wires out. And then install is going to make all their connections in this area here. And then this is a 3x6 that install can reach their hand in and bring wire. They can make their connections and then maybe stuff it back in there, keep it in the big cabinet. So one of the things to point out though is go ahead and tack it. And when you tack on the end piece, this homie, make sure you don't put any tacks right there, right where that reference kiss is. That way, when you go to put the 1-2-2 on there, it just tucks in nice. That way you don't have to like cut this and champ for corners and things like that to get around the weld. So then once you get it all tacked in there, just seal it up really well on the top and all around the edges. And that way Mr. Switch stays nice and cozy in there. And then that should be it. So that's really all I got to point out because I don't know if we've done it like that yet. I'm always coming up with something weird. I do have the bonding and grounding methods right there too for you to be able to get your greens out. Got a little drain hole there. And then maybe what we want to do is just go ahead and I figure we'll put the primary right here, put the primary up. That way it's quick access for them. But maybe put a little Ziploc or a zip tie square, stick one down there with the zip tie in it ready for them. That way they can make it all nice and clean. And then the secondary can just run over here. So that's pretty much it for that. And then while we're here talking about LEDs, because as we know, tenants come and go. So, we wish the best for these guys, but they come and go. So let's go ahead and fill it up. I didn't put the actual logo reference like I usually do because obviously they're going to come and go. So let's go ahead and maybe we can put 4 in here. Let's just fill it up nice. That way there's no issues in case because you can say Balmain goes a little bit bigger than Jimmy Choo and all that. So that way if a tenant comes in that's got a really weird logo, we don't have to fuss with that later. Install makes it easy on everybody. So let's go ahead and do that for the 4. And then coming over to the big boy here, just carrying on what we got. It's a repeat of what I just said. You're going to have the exact same thing here. Technically, they're all the same. I have them grouped and routing separately, but if they come off the thing, like these are the same for all of them. So you don't have to trip that much. So the same thing, get that all set up on there. On the backer, also, it has to be compromised for your seams, right? As usual, because this bigger stuff here. So you got these little clip guys you're lordsing on, and you know how we do. So because that's compromised, I do have a little brace right there. So you just got a C-channel brace. Go ahead and either lords it or tack it in. And then I would tack it to your little butterfly connectors there. You know how those go. Now, also to point out on these are the same. Again, even though I broke them apart, you got 20 for this one, and then you technically have 40 for these because you got 10 each. Don't worry about separating them. They're all the same. So essentially you're going to have 60 of all of the same. So they all get the same treatment. And then install's kind of digging. We've done Arrive. We did Red Falcon. So rather than try to put this together as one giant thing and then installs up there, like trying to get it up here, we're going to go ahead and do that tooth thing where they kind of rest on each other and they lock in, looking all sexy. Do I have it? Oh, I don't have it. Anyway, yeah. So, but these guys are going to go together. So you can leave those separate. But when you do the LEDs, I do have just the logo for these. I feel pretty confident. I mean, it doesn't mean that this might not change hands eventually. I'm looking at you, Westfield Plaza, RIP. But, if you feel cozy just putting the LEDs right where they go, that's fine. I'm sure it'll be fine. If not, you see where they are. If you kind of want to just fill this up, it's up to you. Obviously, we have plenty of power supply because each one of these gets their own. But it's kind of up to you. So you can either follow the logo or just fill it up. So anyway. So that's that for the backer, put the braces in there, make it strong. And then speaking of the LEDs, what you're going to want to do is make a leash, come around and then secure it nice and give them a little leash to hook up on this side. And then go ahead and put another little sticky square and slide a zip tie in it. So that way it's ready for them. They can make it all nice and sexy and make it lay down nice, but have them ready to make that connection in the field. So hook a brother up. Same thing though, power hump is on the right side on this side. And then that side over there, and don't weld where that is, and get your 1, 2, 2 on. For the face, it's going to be a seam thing like you normally do. Because this is only 3 inches deep and it's 132 inches, which isn't crazy. We've built bigger, but I went ahead and left a notch for a 3/4 by 3/4 piece of angle to run the whole length. So the seam for the lip is just a little block. And then we have the strength guys here for the face. But you can see I left that little spot there. And so your cut list is 2 chunks of 3/4 by 3/4, 128. And then just go ahead and, eyeball that in. It doesn't have to be dead centered, but you're just going to lords those guys in all the way. That way it helps stabilize this seam, obviously, and it bolsters up that bend, and it should give it some rigidity for install. So, but yeah, shoot studs, backed up acrylic. So nothing big there. So and I think that's it. Like I said, these are just shoe boxes. You guys got these all day, but I just wanted to point out the little bit of funk there. So now for fab, but for install, fab, you're going to be getting these panels. Let's make sure though, all you need to do is get them washed up and then get them to prep. But let's watch these corners. Let's make sure the edges don't get dinged. Let's make sure nothing gets run over by the forklift or anything. Same thing for prep. If prep's watching, make sure they understand that, let's treat these with care because they're just going to get painted black and then put up there. So for install and for fab, I have them labeled like left 1, left 2, left 3, working from the center out. And then I have right 1, right 2, right 3, working from the center out. So same thing here. So you can see that'll be the center. Probably just measure that center, get this thing dead center, make your mark. And then you can put your L1 and put your L2, and then you'll put your L3 and then work your way back this way and you're good to go. Then you will fire up your paper patterns. But I do have the holes. So even if the holes are a little bit off, you'll have plenty of room to reach your hand in there. But you could theoretically just use these as guidance. Go ahead and put the patterns up. And if you can eyeball where that goes, that'll help you. But I did send over this PDF for install. So you've got 5.5 from the top-ish. And then you got 10 inches in between each cabinet. So starting with the center. So those are your cabinets there. So you'll have this. But you also have this video, so it's up to you guys too. So you should be all good there. Let's see, what was the other thing I wanted to say? There was something else I wanted to say about that. I guess if I think of anything else, I'll shoot you guys an email or something. But other than that, I think we're good. If you have any questions, hit me up.
Check the technique.